It's time to rise. We back in the field. We ready, it's time. It's nothing but hustle inside of the huddle. You know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. Coming for glory. We ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness. Born to be great. Ahead of the game. In front of the pack. Leading the way. It's time to reign. The kingdom's here. This is our year. This is our time. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. It's time to rise. It's time to rise.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Joshua Gray, and I'm joined by my wonderful co host, Meg Kaylee. Great to see you, Meg. Quite an exciting time for all of us here at Xbox.
Yeah, an exciting time indeed. We just had so many game announcements happen. I'm excited. You're excited. Everyone's excited. And we're going to talk about all of it right now.
That's right. That's right. We're going to have some special guests tuning in. Well, all of you are tuning in, but we got some special guests calling in that we're going to be checking with in just a little bit. But there's a lot of details that we're going to go over, some of our favorite moments. I know a lot of people are very hyped for Diablo 4. That was one of the big things for me. So I'm super excited to talk about that. And we'd love to hear what chat has to say as well. We're seeing everybody with the bleed greens and the hype, so good to see you. I also wanted to highlight that everything that we saw yesterday in the game showcase is targeted to launch in the next 12 months, which I think is such a great way to feature these different titles and show off the gameplay, knowing that that's going to be in players' hands within that frame of time. And I know a lot of us attending
Yeah.
E3 and other events in the past, there'd be announcements for games that weren't ready until like 6 years from now. So for me, it felt nice not to kind of think about, oh, when's it going to be released? How long is it going to take? Nope. The plan, the window time frame is 12 months.
Yeah, it's super exciting that it's, because exactly like you said, I had the experience too where I'd see games at a showcase and I'd be like, that game looks awesome, but it's going to be, who knows, it could be a decade until I actually get my hands on it. So to really have that feeling of, no, I can look at all these games we're seeing today and like I can play these sometime within the semi-near future, it's really exciting.
It is. And we're going to be talking about some of the titles that are just around the corner. First of all, Elder Scrolls Online, High Isle, is going to be released on June 21st. Now, somebody who's recently dived into Elder Scrolls Online on Xbox, I've been having a lot of fun with the console version of the title. A lot of people have been enjoying it, obviously, on PC. But when it comes to High Isle, you get to explore a whole new area that hasn't been revealed in the world of Elder Scrolls. That is High Isle Anamenos. And there's white cliffs, majestic castles, and perilous jungles as you encounter a chivalrous group, the Bretons, in the Breton society. Now, you're exposed to the Bretons when you're playing the game. You hear of them, you know of them. There are different NPCs and others that are part of that culture, that way of life. But this is the first time that people get to jump into this section of Elder Scrolls and see it for themselves. I'm stoked to experience it for myself with my Magicka Templar and grind through some of those levels. And looking forward to showcase some of that new content, along with the trading card game Tales of Tribute that has been added as well. And as somebody who loved playing Gwent and the Final Fantasy side games with all the different card games, I think I'm going to be spending some time in this one, Meg.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. I'm the same way where if I find a good card game within a game, then you have that card gameception kind of thing going on, you can just pour so many hours into it. So great to see. I do see some love for High Isle in chat as well. We've got Demon Cat Daphne saying High Isle is awesome. A big hello to you and to everybody else in chat as well. Let us know your thoughts on the showcase as we continue to recap everything that we saw yesterday here on today's show.
Seeing some people mention Halo. We got Halo Pelican coming to the flight simulator, which we're all stoked about as well. But I'm also super stoked
Yeah.
because we have a very special guest joining us today. It's Malik, who is hosting FanFest. Malik, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I also want to say kudos, doing a great job at the event. It was fun to watch some of those pictures. I know people that attended FanFest had a great time. So I would love to hear your kind of overall thoughts on the event, how FanFest went, and some of the titles that you're super excited about.
Yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, shout out to everybody in chat. And I feel like my my face is in the cam, but I am in a hotel room. For anyone who wants to know, you can maybe you can't see my messy bed back there. So just shout out to that. I just had to call it out, call myself out even. Yeah, it was awesome. FanFest was fantastic. On to the topic at hand. It was the first gathering of Xbox fans of that size in 3 years, and so it's one of those things where, leading into it with the rehearsals and everything, we walked into the venue, which was the Novo Theater here in LA. Yesterday or 2 days ago at this point, and it was almost emotional, because you are getting back to an event where the last 2 years, 2+ years, have been really tough for people, and we haven't had that connection. We've had it online, but as far as an in-person thing goes, it's been tougher to have. So as we were going through and doing rehearsals, it was really cool to kind of realize that it was coming back. But it wasn't until the day of yesterday when, I came down from my hotel room. I saw Aaron Greenberg out there, a few other folks from the team, and then we saw the fans. We walked around the corner and saw the fans, and it was just like so amazing. And then to see everybody come in and feel the energy in the room while the showcase played, it was fantastic. I got to co-host the in-person show with someone you all are familiar with, Kelly Lombardi. And so it was just shenanigans the entire time, and I watched the showcase from the balcony. It was just great to be able to see everyone's reaction as the showcase aired out, and then really excited for another day of some really cool additional talks tomorrow. So yeah, there's a lot going on, but it was just, to wrap it up, it was just like a really great time to be able to kind of get back with everyone and experience things together, like one big Xbox family.
I look forward to when Meg Cayley and I get to attend one of those in the future as well together. Meg,
Yeah.
I'm sure you were able to watch the show and see kind of a lot of the stuff happening in social media. What were some of the big reactions you saw on social media? And then I'd like to pose that question to Malik. What were some of the big reactions there personally in house?
Yeah, that is such a great question. That's always one of my favorite parts of these kinds of showcases is just seeing social media blow up with excitement and seeing what other people are freaking out about, especially when you and someone random online, you're excited about the same thing, and now suddenly you're bonding with this stranger on Twitter because you're both like, "Oh my God, look at this super cool feature! This is amazing." I think for me, obviously a lot of hype around Starfield, but great to see a lot of indies get some love as well. And we'll have Timber on a little bit later to talk about some of those wonderful indies that we got to see. But definitely, it's so great to hear Malik talk about, how meaningful it was for people to finally get to come back together for these events because it had been so long. Malik, do you feel like that kind of impacted the energy in the room? And echoing Joshua's question as well, would love to hear about some of the reactions that you kind of saw while you were there in person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one thing to watch, the showcase in person, and like it's great. I mean, you get to see the games, like Josh mentioned at the top of the show, like that you're going to be playing over the next 12 months, and that, as you mentioned, Meg, like getting to understand those games that you're going to play in the near future is really great. Of course, everyone's always going to want to know what's coming next, and I think I posed that question to a special guest. We'll see if it makes the show tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, getting to see everyone's reaction in the theater and being together is an entirely different experience because you get to feed off of the excitement of your friends. And maybe this game is not for you, but your friend is super excited and that makes you happy. And like, again, sharing that experience, it's unlike anything else. And it's almost a uniquely video game thing, in that I don't think, fans of movie and TV, I think they get excited when things are announced, but I don't think that they have the venues for these kinds of big gatherings because gaming is inherently such a social experience, such a fan-led medium. And so it's just fantastic. I mean, as far as like things that I saw that were getting the biggest reactions in person, it's funny. I think going back to the unique dynamics of being in person when you're looking at a huge screen, huger than you would be able to even fit in the house, obviously, and you hear the bass of the sound system in the theater, I feel like it amplifies everything that's going on screen. And so all of the trailers that really had really amazing soundtracks like Redfall. I know one of you will probably talk about it a little bit later on, but Redfall had an amazing soundtrack. Starfield at the end had some very like a really great I don't know how you would describe it, but like the composition, the music composition in that was amazing. Grounded had some really hard hitting beats towards the end of the trailer that got people excited for the 1.0 release in September. And so there were just a lot, and again, the whole back half of the show with the Persona announcements, Hideo Kojima announcing his partnership with Xbox and Starfield, that was just everyone was captivated and at the edge of their edge of their seats. And so yeah, it was just awesome.
As Mr. Jinx 25 had mentioned in chat, the Hideo Kojima moment, I'm sure, was huge in the house because I saw a lot of reactions on social media about that, which was a very big deal. And we'll be talking a little bit more about the implications of what Hideo Kojima said during that interview and how excited Uncle Phil was. Phil Spencer was so stoked to introduce this type of partnership, and the rest of the internet really exploded about that type of news. Another big moment was As Dusk Falls, which a lot of people have been talking about this game, this art style, the presentation. Friends of ours have worked on the game. So Malik, I'd love to get your thoughts on this title, As Dusk Falls.
Yeah, I think anyone who knows me knows that, my number one played game of all time is Apex Legends. I love battle royale games. I love multiplayer games. However, if you were to ask me what my top games of all time are, all of them are narrative-based games. And so for me, a game that tells a great story, a human story specifically, are games that resonate with me. So number one game of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously, I didn't live during that time frame, so it's just really great to experience the world through Arthur Morgan's story. But then there's other games like Life is Strange 2, which is a tale of two brothers, trying to escape to go to Mexico after unfortunate events in their family. Life is Strange 1, Inside, a game with zero dialogue but tells a really great story. That one less human than the others, but still, I mean, you kind of can, it has the themes there. And so for me, anytime I see a game that mirrors the telling of a human story where not only get to experience the story, but you also get to affect where the story goes. Those are the kinds of games that resonate with me. And so, you mentioned it earlier a second ago, but that this game was unveiled some time ago, and I think it had a very striking art style. And if I'm being frank, one of the art styles that probably I thought wasn't for me because I was like, I really want to see the emotion in people's characters, and can a game with still images stitched together tell that story well. I got to play the game, and it is it is amazing. The art style is amazing. I think the fact that they use real actors to capture the scenes and tell it through photography, all my fears of whether or not I could relate and connect to the characters are gone. And I think from what I've played of the game, and again, it releases July 19th, but from what I've played of the game, it does a better job than even some of my favorite games like Life is Strange at creating situations where you have to make decisions that are very hard. They're not black and white. And there's a great piece that Phil Spencer just tweeted out earlier today that you should definitely click the link on. He tweeted out an article on someone's impressions of As Dusk Falls because it just hit Tribeca last week. And so some folks got a chance to preview the game. And it really does a great job of explaining how the decisions in that game kind of force you to hold the mirror up to yourself and kind of understand who you are as a person. And I don't think I've ever felt that from a decision-based game in a long time. So I'm really excited for people to play it. I haven't played the whole thing, so I'm going to be just as excited on July 19th when it hits Xbox Game Pass.
You mentioned that type of emotional resonance that'll happen when you play games like this when it's very narrative heavy. But that reminds me of the Telltale series Walking Dead. The first season, when that was the first type of emotions as a human being, as a man, of what it would be like to be a father. Like, I had emotions I never felt before trying to protect Clementine. I'm like, what is happening here? And it's those types of visual mediums with video games. And you also mentioned, I believe, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which was very impactful emotionally playing that game. And what the implications are of this type of medium, and how some people are like, oh, well, it looks like a television show, don't make it a television show. It's like, well, There are elements you can borrow from a television show and a video game and combine them together and create something new that people can enjoy. And so it's great to see people that want to express themselves, maybe not necessarily in a deep level of gameplay, but in a way that the audience feels they can interact, choose where they want to go in the story, and see how these choices have real consequences and learn from them in the narrative. It's like,
Yeah.
in a way, it's, reading a novel or kind of that choose your own adventure, but a lot more depth and wonderful performances. So that
Yeah.
does make me excited.
I think
Yeah.
that last part is super important in that this game is going to be a game that allows people who don't normally play games to play them. People who love reading books, right? And who think that gaming could never be for them. This is a game that doesn't require a ton of gameplay. It is up to 8 players multiplayer that you could play alongside other folks and pick decide on how to move forward with the story together. And so it is going to be one of those games that expands what being a player is. Sure.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned the multiplayer because that was something that caught my eye. The fact that it's up to 8 players. You can play on your own, of course, but there's a companion app that's going to make it easy to make in game choices with your friends. So they can just use their phones or tablets to vote with or against them. And I feel like that's such a cool experience to have with your friends. It's like watching a movie together, but you all get to bicker with each other over what you're going to pick and what's going to happen. And if a character gets killed because Johnny in the group voted for the wrong thing, then everyone's like, why'd you do that, Johnny?
Why,
And I feel like that's
Johnny?
just Johnny! And that's just a very cool experience to have that's very unique to gaming, I think. It was cool to hear you talk about, that narrative story experience. And it is different than watching a movie because you're there in it, experiencing it and immersing yourself in a very different way and impacting what happens. And I think another great thing, too, with that is you just get this tremendously high replay value. I know whenever I play a game like this, I recently played Road 96, which kind of similar where it's got decisions and things that you do along the way. And after I finished that game, I immediately wanted to start another playthrough because I was like, well, what happens if I go this other direction? And that's such a really great, experience to it as well. And it allows you to go back, play it again and again, and really get to know the characters and the story and all the different outcomes that can come from it.
Yeah,
Replayability
absolutely.
for
And
sure.
yeah, and you'll see in the game. I think they previewed it a little bit at the end of the trailer, but in the game, you will, to your point, Meg, you will be able to see sort of the branching decisions and where the story could go, and it does promote that replayability factor that you just talked about, Meg. And so I'm really pumped about the game. Is that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I'm really excited for the game to come out.
Right on. Now, we had some people in chat that were mentioning when is the extended showcase. That's going to be tomorrow, everybody. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific time. And Malik, again, thank you so much for joining us. Anything else you'd like to share as we let you go and get ready for our next guest?
Yes. Well, I just want to kind of expand on your point. Extend on your extended point. Right there you go. That's terrible humor. I know it's fine. Malik, this is really good. So, this is me always getting disgusted by myself telling terrible jokes. Anyway, point being, Extended is tomorrow. The Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase Extended is tomorrow, and so we are going to be diving deeper into games that were announced at the shows. At the show, I believe that news at Xbox.com said that there may be new trailers. I actually haven't seen the entire show. I was only filming the portions that I was a part of. In fact, a little fun fact, like a lot of these things that, didn't leak, like it was amazing while filming Extended, the lengths to which they kept things under wrap. Like there was times that I had to leave the building for kind of reviews of assets, and so it's going to be really cool.
Wow.
I think tomorrow's show though is mostly there. I don't expect big reveals. Like that's not what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is about diving deeper into the games that were announced at the show, interviewing key players, and so you'll see those interviews. And I'm co-hosting with the amazing Aaron Ashley Simon, and so it's just a great opportunity to hear from folks, hear about the decision-making process in the games. And so really pumped for the show. I believe it's tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific on Twitch, right here on twitch.tv/Xbox.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Malik, for all your great hard work. Safe travels. Looking forward to seeing you very soon.
Likewise. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Malik.
Peace.
All right, Meg. I know a couple other people in chat and some other sentiments that I've seen in the last 24 hours is people from the Gears community wanted to see some stuff.
Good.
People from the Halo community wanted to see some stuff. I would say just stay tuned for those respected developers, 343 and our friends over at Coalition for more updates regarding those titles. I know a lot of people are excited about the future of Halo and co-op and other things, and I'm sure the grander scheme of things, they love to show you and update more things happening for those titles. But there are so many things happening, they could only fit it
So many.
in yesterday. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Gears and Halo community that are tuning in, and they're always hungry for more stuff, and we hear you, we see you. Meg, on top of everything that happened yesterday, I think one of the things that a lot of people really reacted to very positively, especially with you and I working together on this channel, is how many Japanese studios and video games from that part of the world we've been able to feature here on the channel. And now even more is coming to Xbox. So I'm sure you're really excited about that.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to say, you know who else is hungry for more is JRPG fans, especially Persona fans. And that reveal was extremely exciting. We've got Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 coming to Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S. As well as Xbox One and Windows PC. It'll be starting with Persona 5 Royal on October 21st, 2022. And I am really, really excited about this because I had Persona 4 hyped up to me by so many friends. And I was like, I need to play this darn game. And when I went to actually play it, this was maybe a couple years ago when I wanted to start it up, it was very difficult to find a place where I even could. I actually bought a pre-owned Vita for it because I was like, I just want to play this game and I can't really find anywhere to play it. So this is a really huge deal to me, these 3 games coming to not only Xbox consoles, but also Game Pass, because it's going to make this series accessible to so many more people who have wanted to try them out and have heard them, get all this hype and recognition and haven't had the chance to. Amazing soundtrack. When I played Persona 4, I was jamming out, dancing with my little thing in my hand the whole time. Amazing. And the story is really great too. And it kind of is similar to what we were just talking about with Malik, where you have just a very story-heavy experience with a really cool premise. For me, Persona 4, it instantly kind of had this murder mystery sort of vibe where people were randomly just getting killed and you're like, what's happening? And you kind of investigate that, and it's really cool. And you also have really cool social interactions as well with the different characters. They call them social links. There's romances. There's all that interactivity that adds replay value and just adds a really cool and unique experience for you. So I highly recommend this series to JRPG fans and to people who love a good story, even if you're new to JRPGs. I think for the Persona series is a great entry point, and Persona 5 Royal. If you've got Game Pass, you're going to have access to it, which is so exciting. So very hyped about this announcement.
We were able to play the Yakuza series just a little under a year ago when had a lot of the Yakuza titles available on Game Pass. And a lot of people were really impressed that maybe had never played those titles before, how fun they were. A lot of memes are being generated. So once again, bringing these amazing titles to the masses is what Game Pass is all about. And I'm very excited to see the amount of positive reception that we saw, because when you have a game like this or a series like this that has created so many memories for people, it's a bit frustrating sometimes when it's like, I wish you could play this game, but you have to find a physical copy and a Vita somewhere. But now, thanks to the library that's available online for Game Pass, people can experience these titles for themselves. And it's really great. It's really great because there's a number of memories that I have playing Chrono Cross. And when we got to play Chrono Cross on the channel about a month ago, I'm like, oh, there's so many other games that I hope that they bring. And then here we are with the Persona series. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. And we also love to see our next guest, who you will know from our channel. I know, great segue. It's Timber, everybody. Hello, Timber. How are you?
Timber!
Hi, everyone. Thanks for asking me to join you guys today. I've been enjoying the conversations. Glad to be here.
Well, great to have you. We're going to have you on board for the rest of the show. So you bring so much to the channel with your ID at Xbox, and to feature so many different game titles that I sometimes am not even familiar with. And then I go, okay, Infernax, I'm going to 100% this game after playing through that. So what are your overall thoughts on the series itself? And then Megan, I would love to just pick your brain on the different titles and all sorts of news that came out from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a very exciting Sunday for me, plopping down in front of the TV. And I was so excited, obviously, to see so much indie presence in there. I love, obviously seeing that. So there was just a ton of stuff I was excited for, and not just in the indie scope of things too, just like as a whole. I think it was just a very exciting showcase, and I just loved it. I don't know, it was a great time. I had some popcorn, we were ready. Now it's just the hard part of waiting, but we don't even have to wait that long, which is the other side of that. So yeah.
Yeah, not that long at all. Just 12 months for the gameplay that was revealed yesterday, which is kind of tough too, because you think about the list of games I still have yet to play as I'm trying to get
I know.
become a pirate legend of Sea of Thieves first, and I just got to keep adding it to the list.
Get those backlogs ready.
That's right. That's right. But another great thing about Game Pass is that you can try out these different games. Maybe some of these indie titles don't really speak to you. Maybe they do. Maybe you just want to give it a shot. And again, that's why I love your show, ID at Xbox on Wednesdays, to highlight some of these different titles. But also here, I think this is what, Plague Tale Requiem, the first one we're going to take a look at.
Yes. Oh, look
Okay.
at it. I'm going to get chills for like the fourth. Every time I watch this trailer, it's just a visual feast of emotion.
Yeah, it really is. So before the show, Timber and I were talking about A Plague Tale, and I was mentioning how, for me, this game kind of came at me out of nowhere. I hadn't really heard much about it before its release. When it came out, I played the first one, and I was like, whoa, this game was amazing. One of my favorite games of the year. Didn't see this coming at all. So Timber, would love to hear about your experience playing A Plague Tale and what seeing this trailer meant to you. I mean, you said it gave you chills. That's, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, so the first game, and I had mentioned to Meg, have not beaten it. I'm on like the last level because I'm just not ready to let the first one go yet. So that's how I feel about it. It's just such a beautiful, visceral storytelling. I love the horror genre. There's just things you can do within the horror genre that you can't necessarily tell that story with other. And for me, Requiem is there's the goosebumps. Is a clear extension of that visceral storytelling. I'm really, really excited to see the duality between the two siblings. And the trailer makes it very clear that rift is there, that Hugo has a different idea of how to continue their story. And we'll see. I'm just so excited. But yeah, I'm so excited to explore more of their story, and to see what the ending's like. Is there mercy? Will there not be mercy? It's so tense. And I think it's going to be just a really excellent addition to horror narrative.
Yeah, getting pushed into a pile of rats is that's probably one of the worst ways to go I can think of.
Yeah, it's not great.
Not great at all. Meg, have you played through the first one all the way?
I did, yes,
Okay.
I did. I don't want to spoil anything for Timber or anyone who hasn't, but I will just say that the final boss fight was awesome. It definitely had that epic finale feel to it, so I'm excited for you to get to experience that, Timber, and hopefully you can time it so that you finish it like right when the next one comes out, so you can just immediately go into another title. And I think another really exciting thing about this title, too, that we saw on that trailer there is that it's a day one Game Pass release. It continues to blow my mind how games that I would willingly purchase anyway are just already just going to be on Game Pass right from the jump, which is really exciting. And it'll be available to play via cloud gaming as well. So if you just want to try it out, really easy to do that once it's out, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the technology keeps rolling forward, everybody. And again, the implications of what cloud can do, what we have featured here on the channel, playing games like Hades, a roguelike that requires the quickest type of reactions. If that's a viable game to play on cloud, almost any game is available to play on cloud. That's going to feel good. So exciting times for sure. Another title that's excited us is Ravenlock, which was another title that was featured from yesterday. Timber, you seem pretty jazzed about this one. Tell us more about Ravenlock.
First off, Coco Cucumber could make anything, and I will play it. Echo Generation was one of my favorite releases in recent memory. Fantastic RPG, beautiful graphics. It's like awesome 3D pixel delicious. I mean, look at it. And,
It's a feast.
and look at it. And now And now we have this Alice in Wonderland retelling in that same style. The characters are so cool. Like, look at the mushroom. Look at him just popping out like a daisy. Ah, it's so cool. And also the combat looks a little bit different from Echo Generation, so it's not going to be the same experience, which I think is really exciting to check it out. Look, it's so cool, little gestures. So yeah, and I mean the lighting is beautiful, and like Echo Generation was just so good that I have full faith in Coco Cucumber to bring another amazing RPG experience to Xbox. So excited.
Yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful. The thing that jumped out to me was, I saw you getting hyped up about the graphics, and I kind of had that same reaction where I was just like, the colors, the visuals, the really cool character designs. That boss fight with the big mushroom man, I saw an interesting mechanic where all these little like orbs kind of popped out and you had to dodge them. And so that makes me excited to see a little bit more about what the combat's like, what those boss fight mechanics are going to be like, and how many times I'm going to die in order to learn what I'm doing. But that's one of the best feelings in gaming, is overcoming that challenge and making it happen. Joshua, for you, what are you thinking about this game? I'd love to hear your thoughts too.
It feels like somebody in Minecraft took psychedelics and this is the world they went to. I am so in. I really like the specific design that they've made, because you can still see a bit of the kind of pixelated texture within the characters, but it doesn't limit to the design that they're going for, which I think just works so well in this feature they're showing in the trailer. Because there's a lot of times too, when you create a new IP or any type of title, you have to create the rules of what the art's going to be and how the different characters are all related to each other in a way that if you saw a screenshot of this game but there wasn't a title next to it, you'd be like, oh, that's from Ravenloft. And that's what it feels like. Alice in Wonderland meets a bit of that Minecraft aesthetic. But as long as the RPG gameplay is solid, which according to Timber, they really know how to make those RPGs, then I definitely think I'll sink a number of hours into this one for sure.
Play it day one with Game Pass.
Day one with Game Pass. Boom.
And that one you're definitely going to see, I'm sure, on the I Need Xbox Spotlight as one of our games. You'll see it.
Yeah. Our audio engineer, Mark, says it feels like a Tim Burton movie, which I think is a great compliment, especially if you're referring to movies from the 90s.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Yeah. So Ravenlock, that is going to be coming out on Game Pass. The next one that we want to talk about, this is another title that a lot of people have brought up in their kind of most excited best in show, was Lightyear Frontier. And early access for this begins in spring of 2023. I know, Meg, you've seen some people talk about this one as well. Timber, what are your thoughts on Lightyear Frontier?
Yes, please. Just put it
check
on
the
my
box.
desk.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. So another I Need Xbox game, which I'm just so excited about, and I just shout out to like the I Need Xbox team. A lot of really proud team members. I was really proud to see a lot of these announcements as well. So just shout out to the I Need Xbox team. You guys rule. For helping make these games become reality on Xbox. Yeah, Lightyear Frontier, my love of horror is only matched by my love of farming sims, which is a strange duality, but here we are. But when you can take that farming sim, which is a genre that's been around forever in games, and turn it into something new and different and exciting, I think there's a lot of promise there. Using the mechs and being in space but still having a cozy house is just really unique to me, and something I'm really, really excited for. And the trailer makes me very, very curious to explore the world. It seems like something that's not just going to be limited to your homestead. You're really going to have this beautiful frontier to explore. Yeah. Oh, I got goosebumps. There you go. I just
the goosebumps. We'll have to start asking each game, what does it rate on the goosebump-o-meter? Kind of how many goosebumps are you how intense are the goosebumps? I totally get where you're coming from though, because I'm the same where I love farming sims. I asked chat to raise their hand in chat if they like farming sims. So go for it if you're in chat. Let us know if you're excited about this game or what other games you're excited about. And I'm right there with you. I think this is such a cool concept of doing a farming sim, but it's sci-fi and you're in space. And I'm like, what kind of weird space crops am I gonna grow? It's fun because there's so much imagination there where you're not limited to like real vegetables and real fruits. They can just make up whatever they want and put it in the game, which makes me extra excited to see what they are putting in the game and what I'm gonna be growing and raising on my farm.
Yeah, to create different types of biomes, and even if you try to create how the biome interacts with each other and stuff on a different planet, it is fascinating stuff. But for me, I've been tending a real farm. I wish I had a mech suit. It'd make things a lot easier to get stuff done. But it adds that other element of, I think, efficiency with the tech, and maybe you can upgrade your tech or use different tools for harvesting. But it definitely looks gorgeous. And Timber, as you had mentioned, you have an affinity for horror games and for farming simulators, which just kind of begs the question, will a developer ever create Children of the Corn, the video game? I think that would be excellent.
If nobody's thinking it, this is our formal request to give us a horror farming sim. Throwing it out there in the universe.
Dang.
We can make it happen.
There you go.
That is such a concept. I'm here for it.
Light Your Frontier coming out in spring 2023. Looking forward to that one. A couple other games that we definitely wanted to feature.
Day one with Game Pass
Day
again
one.
too.
There we go. Day one with Game Pass.
Indies on Game Pass. Mwah.
They're so good.
Chef's kiss.
So
Love
good.
it.
And we saw a number of different indie titles throughout the show as well, kind of like a big chunk in Act 2, as I like to say in our 95-minute presentation. But Timber, I think you had one or two other titles that you definitely loved showcase yesterday. What was another one that really kind of sparked your joy, if you will?
Well, that would be one of the most, I think, anticipated indie games. We've heard about this one. People have asked for this one for a very long time. Hollow Knight, Silk Song.
Ooh.
Holy moly! And what a beautiful trailer that is. Check it out, because like the action, you could just feel how fluid the combat is going to be just by watching it. And like I said, very, very anticipated release. I'm super excited. That another one I got to jump back into Hollow Knight and beat get ready for Silk Song, because I think it's definitely going to be worth checking out. Beautiful. I love the characters so much. All the characters is just it just looks awesome and beautiful. I think it's going to be, that Hollow Knight experience, but then, up the ante, and you're going to get a beautiful experience.
Hollow Knight's been one of those titles that we've seen appear on multiple platforms. I know it was a big hit on the Switch, but playing it on Xbox has been a joy as well. So to see that sequel to a title that has been embraced across, I would say, the entire range of gamers on different platforms, is really cool to see that a title can have such a prolific impact on so many different people. And so with Silk Song, with this, as we're going to detail here with the trailer,
and the music.
The music,
so
great.
good.
But just the 2D design with so much depth behind it. Again, still capitalizing on that 2D platformer type of genre, but adding as many layers as you can to make it so impactful, which is why the first one was such a huge hit. So with this sequel, definitely add it to the list, add it to the backlog.
The ever-growing backlog.
The ever-growing backlog, for sure. I love a lot of the different abilities you have, too, with this needle. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at her go. She's magnificent. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oop, double jump.
Oh, the floor is lava. Yeah, I think I know I keep saying it with so many games, but the art style here is so cool and unique, and it manages to have like that cartoony aspect, but also be dark and gritty at the same time, which is kind of a difficult thing to pull off. Definitely a game I've seen so much hype for in chat as well, all throughout the stream. We're watching chat, by the way, so feel free to let us know what you've been excited about. But I've seen a lot of people who have just been mentioning this game, and then we've got it right there. It's a day one with Game Pass release as well. Woo! So another really exciting opportunity for people who have Game Pass to check this game out right when it releases without even having to wait. It's just very exciting, and a series that I definitely need to check out, especially after seeing that trailer.
Oh yeah, especially on the go. Especially on the go. All right, Timber, was there another title that you wanted to mention in your list of all sorts of fun that we saw yesterday? Or
Oh
no, that
boy.
was there was a lot. There was a lot, but I think
There's a-
Hollow Knight Silk Song was definitely one on all of our lists for sure. I have a big one on my list that I'll jump into, but I wanted to let you have the floor for if there's any other titles that you wanted us to discuss or at least dive into from the more independent side.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. I think Lightyear Frontier and Hollow Knight were my two huge ones. Did I have? I do. Oh boy. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. I had like my notes for the three. I will say, because there just were so many indies. Something I love about it. All of the ones that we've seen and were in the showcase. Definitely check them out. Meg, you mentioned how beautiful and unique, and that's what you're gonna get with these indie games. And that's like my favorite thing about these indie games that we showcase today is that they're so unique. They're so different from each other. So you're really gonna get this incredible, varied experience throughout all of the indie games that we have coming out in the next 12 months. And I saw in chat, yes, Hollow Knight Silk Song is in that 12-month release period. So get hyped. 'Cause
Get
it's gonna be awesome. Really excited for the next 12 months, especially in the indies and with the indies, all of them coming. These ones coming to Game Pass is gonna be. I don't know. It's perfect. It's the golden age of gaming.
It is.
feels, for indies and for
It-
gaming.
It really is. It really is. And again, thank you as always for hosting your ID at Xbox show that's happening currently on Wednesdays
Yeah.
as we get to watch you and your co-hosts feature all sorts of different games that maybe some people hadn't heard of or wasn't on their radar. So again, thanks
Yes.
for that. One game that's on my radar, Meg, it's been on our radar for a little while now. It's Sea of Thieves. It has a new update coming out
Yeah.
in July, Season 7. I even took copious notes about this one. So the biggest update that's happening on top of this beautiful sea shanty that they put together in this trailer, which after watching it a couple times, it starts to get pretty catchy, is really about customization. You can save your ship loadouts, which saves me so much time because the number one thing I'll do, or one of the first things I'll do when I load in is go customize the look of my ship and then start to set sail after I grab all the supplies from the barrels. But that way, if I have some different loadouts I can save, boom, I'll do the lionfish loadout. Or I'll do the X-Boat Series X, boom, get that one going. But you can customize your cabin, the different furniture, the wall decorations. All of that customization to me adds just a little more of that panache, that personality that you can bring. And then you can name your ship. As long
Booty
as-
McBoatface.
Booty McBoatface, as long as it doesn't have profanity, in the English language at least. you can name your ship what you'd like to. There was some talk about this announcement coming out beforehand. People were, oh, there we go, Xbox Game Pass available right there. But you can also, one of the elements too is of naming your ship with the customization, but also cashing in points, which we're going to get some more details from the developers on, if not tomorrow, then here pretty soon, to make loot easier, selling loot with ease. And I look forward to what those details will be, because a number of times I'm like, oh, I got to get over to this outpost and sell this specific loot, which is, the name of the game. But if there's some other way to sell the loot that makes it more of a streamlined process, I'm all for it. So we'll get some more details there. Meg, I think we're going to have to come up with some great boat names for
Yeah,
our
I was
streams
about
in
to
the
say,
future.
I need chat. All of you in chat, give me your best boat names. What are you going to name your boat in Sea of Thieves? And if you haven't played yet, what would you name your boat if you decided to pick up the game? Because I want to know. I don't know what I'd name mine. I love the concept of like dogs and cats being named very like human names. Like if you have a dog and you name it like Jonathan or something, it's just like not a dog name. I feel like I'd want to name my boat something like that.
Al Armor
Like
says,
fill the boat.
Al Armor says the SS not like this. That's a good one. There's so many memes.
I like that. I like
There's
that.
so many memes that you can jump into. But there'll be, I'm sure, more info about Season 7. But the customization here, I think, is just a really big deal. As somebody who's really fallen in love with playing Sea of Thieves and enjoying all the amount of content they release across the span of multiple years, you have a team, a developing team that are really in their element. They're in the zone. And when they can add these type of elements to reward the player base, it's a win-win for everybody. So that means if next time that we go sailing, Timber, you get to hop on board on the high seas with us.
Oh yeah, I got my. I've been playing. ID Xbox team really loves Sea of Thieves, so you will find us on those open seas.
All right.
Ooh.
See in chat, send in a couple suggestions for their boats. We got Little Yachty, Shrek,
Shrek.
Shrouded
My boat
Ghost,
would be named Fred. I like it.
Fred, the Good Griefer.
Meatbags. Is that a KOTOR reference? Because if so, I see you.
Oh yes, HK47. Yes,
Shark food. That seems like a bad omen.
the Retribution. Pretty good ones. Pretty good ones. All right. We're going to have Timber join us here for the rest of the show. I want to talk about the big announcement with Riot Games. So coming this winter, all Game Pass members will receive bonuses for titles like League of Legends on PC, League of Legends Wild Rift on mobile, League of Legends Runeterra PC and mobile, Teamfight Tactics PC and mobile, and Valorant on PC. Now, what type of rewards? Well, guess what? All the champions in League of Legends, if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, they're all unlocked. All the agents in Valorant, all unlocked. And other benefits for the other game titles as well. As somebody who built their career through League of Legends and StarCraft in the PC world way back in the day, like 12 years ago, being one of the first ever hosts for League of Legends esports, it is fascinating to me to have, again, the joining of communities, or at least the access to the game, trying to bring the communities in on the PC side where you can see your friends or see who's online and launch your game title right there on the Game Pass on the Xbox app on PC. So to me, it's a big deal to have that type of partnership and reward. But Meg, I'd love to ask you, would you ever think that you could be able to launch League of Legends from an Xbox app on your PC? It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, this announcement was very mind-blowing to me, and I think a really big experience for me in the past couple of years has become, it's been getting very immersed in the Final Fantasy XIV community and really seeing big games like that and the giant communities that are associated with them. And I think one of the things that makes this announcement so exciting is the way that it's going to pull new people into all of the communities associated with the games lined up here. People are going to be drawn in by these perks and benefits that they get, and it gives you a little bit of a boost and more things to try out from the get-go. And I know I always get excited when new people start playing the game that I love so much, because I get really hyped to share that experience with them and welcome them into the fold. So I'm excited to see kind of the ripple effect that this will have on the communities here.
Likewise, and Timber, there's a lot of great independent titles that are available on PC, and with Game Pass Ultimate, you get titles to games on console, PC, and mobile. Do you feel that this kind of integration or partnership with such a huge player base on PC just allows more of that easier communication, easier accessibility to games for the players themselves?
Absolutely. I'm a huge provider of get it in as many hands as possible. The wider the audience, I can't help but feel is always going to be better for really any game. I'm not, I just want more people to experience, especially indie games.
Yeah.
Just put it on the desk of every single person on the planet.
There
Is
you
how I
go.
feel.
There you go. Fume asking if Club Penguin's going to come to Game Pass.
I saw that.
wish. I wish. You know how many times? You know how many emails I've sent to make that happen? I don't think it's going to
Listen,
happen.
please, revive Club Penguin. Please.
All right. So big detail about Riot Games. I mean, for me, who plays games on all sorts of different platforms, whatever makes it easier for me to communicate to my friends and, launch it off the same platform. Oh, great stuff. And also, maybe it's finally time for me to try Valorant. That's one of the titles I haven't jumped into yet. I'm super excited for what Riot Games is doing in the fighting game space with their upcoming title. All right, Overwatch 2 was another announcement that came out yesterday, with October 4th being the free-to-play service going live for the game. You can tune into more details about Overwatch 2 at the reveal event on their YouTube channel on June 16th to learn more about what is to come for the game. But still staying within the Blizzard house, we got Diablo 4, everybody. I know a lot of people have been talking about that in chat. A lot of people were talking about that on Twitter. When the trailer was first playing, I thought, oh, this is a Necromancer. Man, this Necromancer would be really cool if they had it in Diablo 4. And then at the end, it was for Diablo, and I was so happy because the way the trailer was presented, I didn't know it was going to be in the Diablo game. And that, to me, is an effective cinematic. But Meg, I'd love to get your thoughts just on the overall trailer, more details about Diablo 4. We got couch co-op that you can play with a friend on the same screen in the same game right there. That's some exciting news.
Yeah, for me, Diablo is a series that I haven't gotten into yet, but I think one of the things that intrigues me a lot about it is that community around it. Because I did see the same sentiment as you, where it was just so much hype. People were just mind blown by this trailer and this reveal. And seeing things like that just makes me go, if people love this much, there's probably a reason. And having things like couch co-op is always great too, because I know I'm always looking for new ways to just bond with people in my life when they come over. I'm always that person who's like, want to play a game? And so having more things kind of in that arsenal of couch co-op games is great. But would love to get Timber's thoughts as well on kind of what we've seen here and what you thought when you saw this trailer.
I am so hyped. Diablo, I've played Diablo since Diablo 1. My father played it. So there's just like, it's both nostalgic and it's very new to me at the same time. It's just, it was beautiful. Beautiful trailer. I'm so excited to customize. I will sync. If you give me character customization, I will sync so many hours
I feel you, girl.
into that. And the fact that we're getting Diablo with character, like, are you kidding me right now? Sold, done.
Yeah, the customization they showcased, very impressive. They have released the other classes as well. We have the Rogue, the Barbarian, the Sorceress, and I believe there's one more. Chat, you may have to help me out on the other one that was confirmed. But it's an open world as well, so you can see and interact with people even though you're not in the same party, and more random boss fights. There's strongholds that you can take over to where you can cast like the demons out and try to hold the stronghold. So as they said in the voiceover with detailing some more reveals and what was happening in the game, it's taking a lot of what we love in the Diablo franchise. As somebody who's been playing Diablo 2 recently, yes, absolutely, but then also incorporating a lot of the facets of games that we love today, different tool sets, gameplay styles. But the customization, I feel, is a really big deal because back in the previous Diablo games, it was a little bit limited outside of what you would look like with all your different item sets, etc. But for you to have, I mean, this Necromancer, I kind of want to just follow that template right there and build something like that in the game. A lot of exciting stuff around Diablo 4. I'm totally hyped for it. It's been one of those titles just kind of down the line. Oh, it's going to come out soon, whenever it does. And like, oh, now it's kind of coming out relatively, around the corner. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But yeah, I'm definitely going to stay tuned for more info about Diablo 4 and what rolls around in the future, especially on console, because I like playing Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 on console. It's been a good experience. All right, folks, we're starting to run out of time. We got to talk about Starfield, okay? We gotta talk about Starfield.
Speaking
All right.
of character customization that I'm going to spend 5 hours on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great to get more of a look at this game. I know a lot of us have been very hyped. I've been a fan of a lot of Bethesda games for many years, so definitely have been anticipating a look at this. And, as Todd was going through this, he was just checking off every box for me. He was like, it's story heavy. There's decisions you make that impact things. It's a sci-fi setting. And my Mass Effect loving heart is just like, oh my God, this is so up my alley. I think the character creator really caught my eye. We got a kind of an extended look at that, which was really cool. Todd mentioned it's their most flexible yet. You can customize all the elements of how you look, and there's even a background you can pick with 3 starting skills and lots of traits that give you advantages or disadvantages. Kind of like The Sims in a way to me, because I saw that you could be introverted or extroverted. And I was like, does the introverted character just like stay at home under the blankets and doesn't want to go out and do the mission? Because that would be me, honestly, realistically, in the situation. But I think it's cool that there's so many different little things that you can fine tune about your character, and it makes me very excited to get into role playing in this game.
Oh, role playing for sure. 1,000 planets, as Chad has mentioned multiple times. Plenty of places to explore, decisions to make. Timber, this is a game, this game type, especially from Bethesda, or games that people get lost in or play, not just for hours at a time, but for years. Skyrim probably being one of the biggest examples. Now that Bethesda, who I think has kind of perfected the fantasy experience in many ways for a lot of people, how do you think this approach to the future, to science fiction, to space exploration, is going to capitalize on a lot of the elements that make Bethesda games great, but take it into a whole new frontier?
I think my first reaction is it's about time.
I know.
Give me some fantasy RPG. Give me those, we had, Mass Effect was mentioned. I love the Mass Effect, and I think what made it so cool and unique is that we had the sci-fi element. We had the alien romances. Like, let's go. And then to see games like Starfield really start pushing those boundaries and push it in ways that Skyrim had. Like, I mean, I have thousands of hours in Skyrim across multiple game consoles, and Starfield is from what we saw yesterday, is very much going to also take another couple thousand hours out of my life in the best way. So I think it's a really exciting, like space itself, it is an exciting new frontier for these massive open space games. I mean, No Man's Sky was one of my favorite ID releases, and then to see this in an even bigger capacity, from what Todd tells us, I think it's great. I think it's going to be a really exciting future for these styles.
Yeah, for me, it definitely was the implications of flying, to be able to customize your ship, build your ship, and what that looks like out in the field, the starfield, if you will. And so to me, that adds such a level that I instantly go, yes, I want to put in the time to customize my ship, because if there's one thing that I love to do in any type of video game, it's fly. And to add that with some exploration, it's going to be a win-win. So a lot of people in chat, a lot of people yesterday, very excited for these details that were released yesterday, more gameplay. But a quick reminder, everybody, the extended showcase is happening tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. We wanted to get together and share our thoughts here at Xbox Plays and bring on some of our guests in order to just get those initial details and kind of echo what everybody else has been saying about why we're so excited about all these different titles that are going to be released in the next 12 months, which is crazy. Now, Timber, a huge thank you to you to join us today for all your expertise when it comes to the independent scene and also your love for pretty much everything video games. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we see you next time?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. Chat, thanks for hanging out with us today. Once again, you can check out the ID and Xbox Spotlight here on twitch.tv/Xbox on Wednesdays, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And if you like the games, the ID games that you're seeing, the indie games that you're seeing, that's an excellent showcase where we check those out in deeper, get a deeper look at those, and you'll definitely be seeing those on that series as well within 12 months. I just love saying that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it nice? Well, thank you, Timber. And also thank you to our friend Malik, who joined us a little bit earlier today. And there it is, folks. There is the schedule, what's coming out. Meg, always a pleasure. Anything else you would like to add to the excitement from yesterday?
Oh man, yeah, always a pleasure. So great. Crazy that I feel like we barely even got to like touch on each of these games. We didn't even get to talk about all of them, just because there was so much here. And I just have to express how much pride I have to be in the gaming industry. And I'm just so proud of all of these amazing developers getting, such great looking things together for this showcase, and creating such awesome games throughout such a hard time in our world. I think it's really amazing. And hats off to all of these very dedicated and hardworking devs for their amazing work. I'm excited to play them all.
Me too. And thank you for mentioning that. Things have been crazy the last couple of years, folks, for everybody, including game developers. And it's not the same when you're working from home compared to working next to each other when you're trying to create these giant landscapes and code and QA and all that stuff. So again, hats off to every single developer and every team who's been working behind the scenes in order to get these games good enough to play, good enough for the masses, and get them released to the masses when they're ready. So again, huge kudos to everybody that worked so hard, and also everybody that worked on the show yesterday. Xbox team did an amazing job. Everybody at FanFest all over the world, kudos, congratulations. We look forward to doing it again soon. That's going to do it for us for our quick rewind on yesterday's showcase, everybody. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
feel. We ready, it's time. It's nothing but hustle inside of the huddle. You know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. Coming for glory, we ready for war. The city's behind us, we giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching, the time is now. No other option, no other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness, born to be great, ahead of the game. In front of the pack, leading the way, it's time to reign. The kingdom's here, this is our year.